Good day, scholars. If you are watching this video, you have the pleasure of watching your first sketch note. So this is a sketch note on generalizations. So what's a sketch note? Well, basically it's just me writing down notes and you having the pleasure of listening to them. So let me tell you a little bit about generalizations. Generalizations are a type of internal text structure. If you remember, we talked about this in class. Internal text structures are basically how the text or writing is organized. And one of the ways it can be organized is in something called generalizations. So what are they? Well, generalization is a broad statement. It's what I call like a big bear hug, okay? It's basically where you've taken information, observation, and experiences and come up with kind of 1 to 2 sentence statement about information. So it's always going to be based on facts. And they're going to have to be valid observations. So valid means good observations. For example, if I walk inside my house and I see my dog laying on the floor with his belly hanging up and his paw on his stomach, and I also then see all the garbage dumped over, an observation I can make is probably that he's not feeling pretty good. And that's an inference I'm able to get. I'm able to infer that based on 2 pieces of observation. One, that he's laying on the floor, and 2, that my trash is on the ground. If I come in and I see those same things and I say, oh, he must have had a great day, I'm not making a really good, valid observation, okay? So really, valid observations are using real data and real information to draw a conclusion. So what does the generalization do? It basically uses data to find patterns or connections. So a way to use data are things like surveys. Like if I surveyed all of our 150 students on our team and I said, how many of you love language arts? If 140 out of those 150 students said they love language arts, that's going to provide me data that I can then make a statement about. Infographics, or graphics that provide us information, are great resources. In class, this is how we actually introduce generalizations. So remember, infographics are graphics that provide information. And then another data point can be just graphs and charts. And you always see these in like science class, social studies, math. These are charts that you'll use to actually draw a conclusion from. So I think too, for me, what I used to struggle on as a kid was this term broad. Like, what does that mean? Well, it's covering a large number or a large area, okay? It's a wide scope of subjects or areas. So for example, let's say at our school, you have the core content areas of math, science, social studies, and language arts. If you went to a school that provided those things, you would say, okay, overall, these are subject areas. A broad statement would be language arts, math, social studies, and science are all subjects. It's what they can kind of roll up to. Now, one of the things we started talking about in class for generalizations was this idea of valid versus faulty. So my question is, what's the difference? Well, for me, valid generalizations are ones that are based on factual information, so we can actually draw a reasonable conclusion, okay? So these might be statements that start off with, based on the information, most students liked language arts, or based on the information, some students liked language arts. It's where you use data to draw a reasonable conclusion. Valid means good, so think very, like very awesome, okay? The opposite of valid generalizations are faulty ones. So let's look right over here, kind of where this pencil is. Faulty means it's not based on good data. It's too broad and it's not consistent with facts or observations. So it's things like where you say, I'm never going to do good on this, or I always fail my tests. You have to think about it like this. These are these overstatements. I call them these great big opinions that have no basis on any facts. Faulty generalizations don't help us at all, but you're going to see people along the way try to trick you. So stay away from faulty ones. Make sure they're valid and based on information. Okay, so let me give you an example here. Here are kind of the facts and observations that you take on a Monday evening. So you're out and about and you're walking kind of downtown, and this is what you notice. The Pizza Shack downtown is closed on Mondays. So you read the sign, it says, hey, Pizza Shack closed on Mondays. And then you remember, last Monday I had a hard time finding an open restaurant. And then you happen on another Monday to walk down and you see that the Thai Kitchen, which is also downtown, is closed on Monday. So a valid generalization that you can make on this is that many downtown restaurants are closed on Mondays. Because look, I've got the Pizza Shack, the Thai restaurant, and then I remember that last time when I went downtown, it was really hard to find an open restaurant on Mondays. But a faulty one would be that all downtown restaurants are closed on Mondays. Here's the reality. That day when I went down that last Monday, maybe I found a restaurant. When I use these words like all or never, it implies that something can't ever change and things always can change. Notice that big faulty generalization that I just made. Okay, at this point, those were just some brief notes on generalizations. A key takeaway. First of all, generalizations are an example of internal text structure. So that's how a text is organized. So the first way that we're learning is generalizations. Generalization is a broad statement, and there's two major types. There are valid and faulty. We want the valid ones based on great data and great observations. Okay, after watching the end of this video, you are going to need a fun code. And a fun code is that one which for next class, you're just going to tell me on a quick sheet of paper so that I know you had some fun watching this video. So your fun code for tonight is sketch notes. Okay, so you can see me kind of circling on the screen for spelling. Sketch notes is spelled S-K-E-T-C-H, and then there's a space, and then notes, N-O-T-E-S. So the fun code for class is going to be sketch notes. You're going to need that to get started next class. Have a fabulous evening, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye, guys.